At least 11 Marines and a Navy medic died in an attack outside the airport in Afghanistan today. This video is from shortly after the attack. We know it's dark. It was taken at dusk in Kabul. It shows airplanes taking off shortly after an explosion at the airport there. An explosion ripped through crowds waiting at one of 4 entrances to the airport, where thousands of people had gathered every day hoping to leave the country since the Taliban takeover. 2 suicide bombers are responsible for that explosion.
Pentagon officials say shortly after that explosion, another struck a nearby hotel. A Taliban spokesman condemned the incident and pledged on behalf of the group to bring justice to whoever leads the attacks. The U.S. officials say the attack is believed to have been carried out by the Islamic State group. This IS affiliate is more radical than the Taliban. U.S. and Britain warned citizens to avoid the airport yesterday due to an impending threat. At least 72 people were killed and 143 were wounded. And that number, it keeps changing. The U.S. continues the process of evacuating thousands of Americans and Afghans by August 31st. Senator Tom Tillis said his office is assisting more than 1,000 Afghans trying to evacuate. The senator released a statement saying the terrorist attacks in Kabul are horrific and jeopardize our efforts to evacuate American citizens and our Afghan friends and allies. Congressman Ted Budd also commented on the attack, stating, "Our brave men and women in uniform put themselves in harm's way to save others. They are the best of our country, and we are forever in their debt." Switching gears now to our other top story, Guilford County Schools provided an update on back to school. The first week back to school started with students and staff required to wear masks and parents facing long lines at drop-off. This as more families choose to skip out on buses due to COVID-19.
Now, the Guilford County Health Department says 242 students are in quarantine. 99 of them are student athletes. The school district has confirmed 5 people contracted the virus while on school grounds. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says the district would not return to virtual learning unless it's recommended by the health department or state leaders. Now, while the quarantine number seems high, Dr. Contreras commended the district for its policies.
We take a lot of heat for being a little stricter on health protocols, but you can see that our health protocols are working. By demanding that we wear a mask in schools, our schools remain open, which I think, irrespective of where you are on the issue of mask, I think all of us want children in school, and we're able to keep them in school because of these protocols.
Quarantined students have been given devices to continue learning at home. Now, if 50% of a class is quarantined, the teacher will use a device to teach students in person and remotely. Another problem Contreras addressed today, lengthy drop-off and pickup lines at schools. She says the district recognizes the problem and explained the issue.
We've received quite a few calls about this and asking, what is the district going to do about these traffic lines? Well, the district can't really control this. Right now, about 50,000 parents are choosing to transport students, adding an additional 20,000 cars to the roads and to the schools or the areas surrounding the schools. There's no way the district can mandate that children get on the bus or tell parents you can't drive your children to school, and we certainly understand their concerns about bus safety.
While it's hot outside and hot inside some Guilford County classrooms as the district deals with widespread AC problems.
Yeah, WFMY News 2's Avery Powell found out what schools and students are dealing with.
Guilford County Schools Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says there are about 540 work orders for HVAC issues across all GCS schools. She admits that's a high number for the district. 1/3 of schools reported at least one classroom with an issue. Jamestown Middle School closed early today because of the AC issues. The heat and age of district buildings factor into AC problems, but Dr. Contreras says the main reason is supply issues with HVAC parts. The trucking delays prevent the school district from getting AC parts for 6 to 8 weeks. She says some of the systems are so old the parts had to be made. This is why the superintendent says people should invest more in public schools.
When you build a school, even if it's a newer building, you still have to invest in the maintenance of the systems or you're going to see these sort of problems when you have what we call acts of God, like the extreme heat. And that's what we're facing right now.
Guilford County school officials say they also can't provide fans because of COVID-19. I did reach out to some AC repair businesses who acknowledge the parts issue, but one told me this time of year is also just extremely busy for them. A spokesperson for the school district says this is a big undertaking, so some of the work is being done internally and some is being contracted out.
Avery, thank you. I'm going to bring in Eric Chilton now. Eric, you know, this has been a problem, the heat, for a few days now, and it looks like it's not going to be giving up anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. And the humidity, you add that to it, our dew points are in the 70s. And while that may not mean a whole lot to you, you just know that once you get to 70 or above for a dew point temperature, that means that humidity levels are technically called oppressive. It's almost like tropical moisture, and that is exactly what we're seeing across the area. No relief in the short term too much, but we do see some of the temperatures have been cooler today than they have been. I know 85 in High Point, that's still warm, right? But in the north, not the case. 91 Walnut Cove, 91 Martinsville and Danville. Now, some of these temperatures that are a little bit cooler in the central parts of the viewing area are due to the rain and the thunderstorm activity that we're seeing out there right now. No watches or warnings in effect, but you can see from basically Summerfield heading all the way through 150 Brown Summit over to 29 and heading north into Reedsville and southern Rockingham County. Probably the strongest thunderstorms that we've seen so far are around Blues Creek, and then that goes up into Rockingham County, parts of Stokes County also. Those are moving very slowly, so we could see a good bit of rain from that. All right, let's talk about tropical depression number 9. This one located about 95 miles southwest of Jamaica. You look at the forward track with this could be a category 1, in fact should be by Saturday afternoon. Sunday it could be a 2 as it moves ashore. It looks like around the Louisiana coastline, maybe New Orleans, and then making that turn back to the north. This is Tuesday with winds dropping down to 35 at that point. We're just watching for rain. Now the periphery of this high pressure system may save us from a lot of rain with that if it remains where we think it will be for the next few days. That can move in and shift, and another one could come in and take its place, so it's too early really to talk about that, but we'll keep you posted as far as that goes for us and any rain from that tropical system. We are in the low 90s, it looks like, through the first part of next week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're between 91 and 93. Not a lot of rain in that forecast. 30% chance of late day pop-up showers Tuesday, Wednesday. Will cool down to 88 by Wednesday of next week, and by Thursday, 85, and a normal 40% chance of late day storms.
The Randolph County School Board has called a special meeting on Sunday to discuss pandemic policies. You'll remember nearly 300 students and staff have been quarantined between last Saturday and this Tuesday. Randolph County Schools is one of 3 districts in our area still operating with an optional mask policy. We're working to learn more about this coming weekend's meeting, and we will keep you posted. Meantime, our state's coronavirus numbers took a major jump today. The state says it learned of more than 8,600 new cases in the past 24 hours. You can see it there all the way at the end in the red. It's the highest number that we have seen in more than 7 months. There are only a handful of days that have been higher throughout the entire pandemic. Our most recent high was about 7,000 cases last week. Today's number is 1,600 more than that. It doesn't look like we've hit our peak yet. Yesterday, a local health expert told us it could be 4 to 6 weeks before we get there.
A former Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools employee faces indecent exposure charges. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says Charles Holland reportedly exposed himself to a student. They say the incident happened at Louisville Middle yesterday. The school district says he no longer works for them. Holland's first court appearance is tomorrow.
Real-time crime centers are the newest technology law enforcement are using to find criminals. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office has been using it for the last year and a half, and now Guilford County is considering it. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey talked with both departments about their efforts to fight crime.
Well, it kind of seems like something out of a movie. Law enforcement using a network of cameras to catch the bad guys within a few minutes of the crime. But it's been a reality in Forsyth County for almost 2 years now, and it could be on its way to Guilford County as well.
When we watch CSI on television and they have these different real-time scenes, that's all it is. When you see that, that's exactly what they're doing. They are actually watching the suspects or trying to pull it up right then to find out how they can better serve their communities. Chicago, DC. So I know we're talking about Guilford County. Forsyth County have it. Many other areas around us have it.
This new technology would allow for Guilford County Sheriff and GPD to quickly access and view private and public cameras in the area of a crime. Forsyth County Sheriff and Winston-Salem PD have been using this technology for 2 years, and Public Information Officer Christina Howell says this technology isn't for spying on you, but helping better our communities.
A misconception is that we want to be Big Brother. We don't want to be Big Brother in the sense that we're looking into what our residents are doing on a daily basis. We want to be a Big Brother in the sense that when there's a bully on the playground, we want our community members to tell us, and we want to go ensure that the bullying stops.
As of now, there is no timetable for when Guilford County will be able to install this new technology, but Sheriff Danny Rogers is optimistic they will be able to do so in the near future. We'll be right back.
One in 5 children in North Carolina struggle with hunger, and for more than a decade, Backpack Beginnings has worked to make sure children in Guilford County don't go hungry. This weekend, they'll help even more children with their Bust the Bus event. Parker White has a passion for helping others. She's dedicated her life to feeding children in need.
Backpack Beginnings started in my dining room about 11 years ago, and the goal was just to serve 50 children at Wiley Elementary.
From the dining room to this warehouse, Backpack Beginnings now serves more than 17,000 children annually in Guilford County by providing food, clothing, school supplies, and more.
So COVID was really difficult for us in the beginning, and while the schools shut down, we had to find new ways to reach the families.
What better way than with a bus? In lieu of its annual Kirkwood 5K fundraiser, the nonprofit is hosting its second Bust the Bus event on Saturday.
We'll have a bus out in the parking lot at Charles Ayres. We'll have the cars drive through. They can pop their trunks, and we'll unload the trunks. We'll put the items into the bus. Hopefully we'll fill up a bus.
Along with his event partner, executive recruiting firm Charles Ayres, Backpack Beginnings raised $18,000 in monetary donations and more than 2,000 pounds of food last year.
We wanted to find just like a safe way for people to have any option possible to get involved.
White says this kind of support helps to keep children full and not go hungry.
So we're so grateful that the community really rallies around us and allows us to continue to meet more needs out in the community.
The Bus the Bus event will be this Saturday from 11 to 2. If you donate at least 5 items, you'll get a free cone of ice. For a list of those items that they're looking for, just look for the story on our website.
Now, she's taken this initiative from nothing to something gigantic. I mean, the work she's put into this, and if you don't think that's a big deal, go inside a school bus and see how big they are.
Yes.
It's a lot of room.
It's a lot of room, and last year they weren't able to fill the bus. They were able to get a lot of items, but this year they're trying to exceed that goal. So you can bring anything more than just food. You can bring gently used clothes, toys, school supplies, all of those items. And if you bring at least 5, you're going to get a nice icy treat.
I would love to see at the end of this just that bus with the stuff all the way to the ceiling, driving down the road, delivering the goods. That's awesome. Nice job. All right, we're going to take a short break. The 4 to 5 continues in just a minute. Stay right there. You know, we all love a good music festival, but especially when it benefits a good cause. So Crisis Control Ministries, they do incredible work for those in need in the Triad. And this weekend is their annual fundraiser. It's called Schmedfest. Yes, I spoke with Director Dr. George Banks and Marketing Coordinator Ryan Moody about this festival and where they got that name from. Take a look. Hey guys, thanks for taking time out today. So you have to tell me about this event because I know you've been doing it a long time, but it's basically a big party and it helps you guys out. Talk about it.
This event started 17 years ago. It was started by Steve and Tanya Kavanaugh. Steve was a board member here at Crisis Control Ministry, and him and Tanya wanted to do something extra. So they decided that they would have a big community party to raise money to support what we do in the community here at Crisis Control. And it's a very interesting name. It's called Schmedfest because the party was centered around their birthdays. And so they have a nickname for each other called Schmeddy. And so the name took on the name of Schmedfest, and it's been going on for 17 years.
So Ryan, let's talk about the entertainment because, I mean, people want to get there for that music. What's happening this weekend?
This Schmedfest is going to be a little different than it was in past years. We're incorporating a lot more fitness events in addition to our community concert. So starting on Friday at 6 p.m., we're kicking it off with what we call the Schmed, which is a 24-hour fitness marathon that is hosted by local fitness groups, in addition to a 5K that we're hosting and a fun run on Saturday morning, 7:30 and 8 a.m. And then after all the fitness events, we have a community concert for the entire, for everyone who comes out. We're gonna have a lot of great food trucks there. We're gonna have a lot of great music. We have free beer, wine, and margaritas.
Well, it sounds like you've got the whole day covered, my friend. There's a lot of stuff going on. Talk about what you guys do for people that aren't familiar.
Crisis control has been around for 48 years, Eric. We're one of the largest emergency assistance providers in Forsyth County. It was started in 1973 by 5 downtown churches who were being inundated with people seeking assistance. And they decided that they would come together and form an agency, and it's been around. We provide emergency assistance, and we deem an emergency a crisis as if something that impacted your family, that inhibits you from being able to provide basic needs for your family. That's when we step in.
This sounds great, guys. Can't wait to see this. Good luck with everything this weekend. I mean, they get you with the name, if nothing else. Schmidt. I love that was their pet name for Schmitty. Schmitty. I didn't know where that came from.
This is so cool, and I love how everything is outside. You know, you have the concerts and this physical aspect. So in the time of COVID, where people might be a little uneasy about gathering with others, this is a safe way to gather with others and also raise funds for a good cause.
That's right.
I'm gonna, so I came up with some events that you guys could host based on your names.
Okay.
So we can call it the Chill Out.
Nice.
With Eric Chilton, and then Coley Moly.
I like that. The Coley Moly.
Some word after it, maybe Coley Moly Fest or something. But
Silver Bells is already taken, so
Silver
that's
Bells,
your
yeah.
festival. That's already a thing.
Coley Moly, I like that.
I also like Silver Lining, so like we could do like Silver Linings playbook.
Good news stories.
Yeah, right.
Good news stories. Yeah. No, I like that from now on. My pet name for Chad and Lauren will be Schmitty. So
Schmitty.
Toss to break, Schmitty.
I like that. All right,
have a good day, Schmitty.
Schmitty. We'll be right back. 4 to 5 continues, like it or not. Another hot one out there today, especially when you look to the east of the Triad. Heading down east, Fayetteville's at 94 degrees right now, and that is not a feels like index. That's an actual temperature. 92 in Raleigh. We're at 88, and some of the temperatures in the central parts of the viewing area actually dropping a little bit because having some rain in the kind of north central areas. We'll show you that in the radar in just a minute. Dew points, you look at the top for the graphic here, anything above 70 degrees, that's a tropical feel to it, and that's pretty much all of the Triad. You have to go back into the higher elevations in Boone and Galax to get or lower dew point readings than that. Rain right now from Walkertown. We see that kind of moving along Highway 158 up to Reedsville and then to the north of Summerfield heading 220 north. We'll be watching that close. There are some thunderstorm activity and lightning strikes indicated in those thunderstorms, so just know that that does exist. Now heading into the hour by hour tonight, you'll see more in the way of just partly cloudy skies, we think, and dropping down to about 80 by 9 p.m. Probably getting into those low 70s by the time we get to 2 a.m. A reading expected of 75 degrees. All right, high pressure in control, and as that slips a little bit of back build, really, back to the west, we'll remain fairly warm, but then all eyes start to turn once we get to the next 48 hours or so. We'll be watching this system down into the Gulf. Of course, that is Tropical Depression number 9, but that is forecasted to be a storm possibly in the next 24, and then maybe even a Category 2 hurricane as it moves toward the New Orleans area. We'll let you know about that. You look for the sun and clouds mix for tomorrow with a high of 92 degrees, and our long-range forecast, we are in the low 90s, 91 to 93 through your weekend, fairly dry. Small late-day pop-up rain chances come in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we'll cool back down upper 80s Wednesday, mid-80s on Thursday.
Do you feel tied down by your past as if you're chained to the pain? In today's U-Day moment, Coach Lamont reminds us we have to let go of our mistakes to free ourselves from the past.
You will never get a breakthrough until you are willing to break through. Break through from your past, break through from the pain that once held you captive, break through from the mistakes that have taken a toll on your life. We have all made mistakes. We have all fallen short of the goal. But you, my friend, can no longer hold a mistake over your head, constantly punishing yourself. See, the thing about a mistake is we are to learn from them. We are to treat mistakes as life lessons, lessons that warn us of consequences if we do this, having understood that we don't want to re-experience pain that mistake brought. But we must be willing to allow mistakes to become wisdom and not a warden. Never allow something you've done to hold you in a mental prison. You've already been stuck. It's time to come out. You learned. Now break through. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U-Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
So this is so wild that this is our U-Day today because I do have an app that gives me daily quotes, and on Sunday the quote was actually, "I forgive myself of all the mistakes I've made," and I posted it on my Facebook page. And why it's so powerful is I think a lot of times when we have made mistakes in the past, we hold on to guilt, maybe even shame, and sometimes we just have to give ourselves grace in order to move forward.
And that doesn't, your mistakes don't define you.
Yeah, they don't.
If anything, they educate you. And I know my dad used to always say, everybody faces adversity, but it's what you do with it that defines who you are. And I think that's true. You face these, you learn from the mistakes and you just don't do them again. Now, if you do them again, then you've got to work on it some. But,
yeah, and we're human.
Right.
Everybody, no one's perfect. I might make a mistake tomorrow. You might make one today.
Probably did about 3 times at least today. Got another one scheduled at 6. But anyway, my little girl, it's funny, my youngest is super conscious about making the right decisions and doing the right thing. Very worried about doing the wrong thing. And I admire that in her. But you know, that's the flip side of this. Don't worry so much about that you're going to make mistakes.
You got to take that pressure off yourself.
That's true.
You'll go crazy.
I know. I'll work on that with her. Work on that. All right, we're going to work on a break and pay some bills. We'll be right back.
We begin with a big story overseas today affecting a lot of people here. At least 12 U.S. service members died in an attack at an airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. 2 suicide bombers are responsible for killing 11 Marines and a Navy medic this morning.
One attack was by the airport, another struck a nearby hotel. The evacuation process is changing day by day. CBS News' Steve Dorsey has an update on the situation.
2 suicide bombers assessed to have been ISIS fighters detonated in the vicinity of the Abbey Gate at Hamad Karzai International Airport and in the vicinity of the Baron Hotel, which is immediately adjacent. The attack on the Abbey Gate was followed by a number of ISIS gunmen who opened fire on civilians and military forces. At this time, we know that 12 U.S. service members have been killed in the attack, and 15 more service members have been injured.
President Biden met with his national security team in the Situation Room in the aftermath of the blast. Several planned White House events, including the president's meeting with the Israeli prime minister, were postponed.
But I think our mission remains. We're still committed to flowing people out up until we terminate operations at some point, towards the end of the month.
Lawmakers say U.S. forces should stay until the evacuations are complete.
Leave no one behind enemy lines. No one.
The State Department had issued a warning overnight for Americans to stay away from the airport based on intelligence reports of a credible threat. Steve Dorsey, CBS News, the White House.
On to our next top story. Guilford County Schools provided an update on back to school. The first week back to school started with students and staff required to wear masks and parents facing long lines at drop-off as more families choose to skip out on buses due to COVID-19. The Guilford County Health Department reported 242 students were in quarantine at this time. 99 of those students are athletes. The school district has confirmed only 5 COVID cases were a result of being on school grounds. Dr. Sharon Contreras says as of right now, the district would not return to virtual learning unless it's recommended by the health department or state leaders. The superintendent adds, while the quarantine number seems high, she commends the district for its COVID policies.
We take a lot of heat for being a little stricter on health protocols, but you can see that our health protocols are working. By demanding that we wear a mask in schools, our schools remain open, which I think, irrespective of where you are on the issue of mask, I think all of us want children in school, and we're able to keep them in school because of these protocols.
Students are also sent home with devices to continue learning if they are quarantined. If 50% of a class is quarantined, the teacher will then use a special device to teach students in person and remote.
Since the FDA approved coronavirus booster shots for people with weakened immune systems, nearly 19,000 North Carolinians have received one. This is only available for people with weakened immune systems. Others will be approved for the shot later. President Biden says he hopes 3rd doses for everyone else will start next month when the FDA gives the green light. If it receives approval, U.S. health experts would recommend people get their booster 8 months after their 2nd dose.
State and local officials are reaching out to college students with the upcoming Booze It and Lose It campaign. This year, Winston-Salem was selected for the kickoff of the campaign. Officials gathered with Winston-Salem State University students, warning them of the dangers of impaired driving. Highway safety officials say there were approximately 1,500 people who died last year on North Carolina highways. Of those deaths, nearly 350 were the result of impaired driving. Several happened on Labor Day.
Now last year, I'll be honest, it was an awful year for roadway deaths. It was an awful year in a lot of ways, but our roadway deaths really skyrocketed at a time when the amount of vehicle miles that we travel plummeted.
A Winston-Salem advocate shared his story of how impaired driving changed his life. Justin Hubbard says his best friend is now in prison because he got behind the wheel of a car impaired and killed someone.
I wish more than anything that I would have got a phone call that night before they decided to get in that vehicle.
This year's campaign runs from August 30th to September 12th.
Well, we're talking about more 90s for the next several days. In fact, that may continue through the weekend and into the first part of next week. Our average high is 86 degrees. Our record today was 98 back in 1975, so thankfully not close to that. But we did see a 94 in Fayetteville, and that was actual temperature, not a heat index reading. So right now, 88 in Greensboro, Winston-Salem 89, Mount Airy, you're at 88. Along with Wilkesboro, we go up to 91 in Statesville, 89 in Asheboro. Most of the thunderstorm activity is in the northern parts of our viewing area. Reedsville, just some lighter rain, but if you look back to the west and go all the way down toward Blues Creek and Walkertown area, that's where we're seeing thunderstorm activity, and it looks like some decent lightning associated with that heading north along 220 as you get up even closer to the state line. We're seeing some of that rain. Now we're watching Tropical Depression 9. This system is forecasted to possibly be a tropical storm and then eventually maybe even a Category 2 hurricane before it moves ashore, and that could happen around the Louisiana coastline. We'll keep you posted. That would be as we head into the early part of next week, or the end of the weekend, we should say. The effect for us will be minimal with this because that high pressure ridge is building back to the west a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that and see how long it sits there and how strong it will be. If it has the capability to steer that storm, or at least what's left of it at that point, it would be just a lot of rain away from our area. Keep you posted on that. Here's our 7-day forecast. Yeah, we mentioned the heat, and it's sticking around, isn't it? 91 to 93, the range of highs Friday through Tuesday, with rain chances sneaking back in, albeit slight and late day pop-up variety. That'll be Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll cool it back down though. 88 by Wednesday and 85, a little bit below normal, believe it or not, by Thursday of next week.
There's a good chance you are dealing with student loans. Of course, they can be a pain, but many former students might not have seen this headache coming. A popular loan company says it's stepping out of the student loan business at the end of the year, and it could end up costing borrowers.
Student loans have been front and center for a while now, but this is a headache that few saw coming. The key here, interest rates should not change if you already have this type of loan, and it shouldn't cost you anything, as long as you know how to handle all the changes.
It's been something kind of hovering over our heads.
Dr. Neil Andrews is a third-year resident at Atrium Health, and despite navigating medical school and a tumultuous year of COVID-19, he's worried he's about to deal with an even bigger headache.
The uncertainty is unsettling, and just anticipating all the problems that will arise.
Andrews is one of millions of borrowers across the country who have a federal student loan run by the U.S. Department of Education that's managed by a company called Fed Loan Servicing. They just announced they're out at the end of the year, saying student loans are getting too complicated and too costly.
Well, that leaves about 8 to 9 million borrowers, or about 20% of all federal loan borrowers, without a servicer. Essentially, all of those loans will need to be transferred.
And that's what worries Andrews and many of his colleagues. He admits most of them don't do a lot of homework before signing up for student loans.
You'd have to understand, like, doctors don't spend a lot of time doing economics research or financial planning. So yeah, the loans are almost guaranteed to be taken by doctors. It kind of reminds me of when you're in the emergency room having a heart attack. You don't say, hold on, stop. Let's shop around, you need that right now.
And financial planner Will Coster, who focuses on student loans, says the pending changes to the loan could lead to late fees and more if the paperwork isn't all buttoned up.
We all know that if there are mistakes and payments aren't calculated correctly, or a borrower misses a payment, there can definitely be penalties. And they're going to have all their information and data transferred correctly to that new servicer. So it's just going to cause a lot of confusion.
Andrews is already getting things in order, anticipating a mess come the end of the year when Fed Loan's contract is up.
Having that hanging over our heads is kind of an emotional weight, added stress to an already stressful profession.
So one problem, we don't know who's going to be taking over the loans yet, but you can still get ready. First, make sure you know who services your loan. Log into your federal student aid account. See who your loan servicer currently is. You can also call this number. We've got it here on the screen, 1-800-433-3243. Make sure to log into your account and update all of your contact information there as well with your current loan servicer. Also, download your payment history so you've got a record of it. You can also keep an eye on any automatic payments. Make sure you know it's going to the right place. And lastly, keep an eye out for a notification from the U.S. Department of Education about who exactly is taking over your loan.
Welcome back. You know, there's one thing we're all sure of. People love their pets. And since today is International Dog Day, I asked you on Facebook to show us the pooches and talk about them a little bit, and we were lit up with comments. Julie Luck sent us this one, our own Julie Luck. She said this is Tongue Out Thursday. Pick us Lambert there, her dog. Alicia says Kemper Rain, 13, but 3 at heart. Loves cuddles and attention and squeaky toys. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. Tony says this is Brady. She'll be 2 in December. Favorite meal is chicken, green beans, and rice. And she loves to swim. You don't hear that very often if it's not a lab. Jeff says Ziva and Ari, brother and sister. He's 7 months younger. And Gay Moore says Thunder and Lightning, 2 rescue pugs, 10 years old. Our boss Kim Ballard sent a picture too of her 4-legged friend there. That is Ruby, blessing the household there. You know what? I love seeing these pictures. Not to get it on a down note, but we lost our dog a year ago. But seeing these makes me really realize, you know, you miss them and you just love animals. We all love animals, it seems like.
You guys have pets? Any dogs?
No, I don't. I came here for college and haven't found a 4-legged friend yet. We did have a family dog, but unfortunately Miss Ginger, she did pass a couple. Yeah, Ginger Gilkey. She passed in February, I do believe. We had her for 14 years.
Wow.
She was a great dog.
I don't have any dogs right now, just because I feel that it would be selfish of me to get one because I'm not home very much.
That's true.
I completely understand.
The dog deserves more than what I can give it. But you know, even if you lost a pet a year ago, or you know, maybe a couple decades ago, I mean, I still miss my dogs that we lost, family dogs, many years ago. But I think my favorite thing when pet owners dress their dogs to look like humans. So like a little suit and tie. I mean, that's hilarious to me.
I think it's funny when pets look like the owners.
Yes.
You know, you've seen those pictures. It's so true.
So I don't have a dog, but I'm a dog aunt. My sister has a dog, Roxy, and when I mean they actually do kind of look alike, and I think it's just because they've been together for so long.
I hope your sister's
but she's
not
super
watching.
cute.
I hope your sister is not watching.
Roxy is styling. She's cute. So I don't mean she looks like
Lauren,
a dog.
if you
but
tell me I look like a dog, we're gonna have a problem.
You know what I meant by that.
No, I don't.
Maybe we need to put on Facebook, what kind of dog do all of us look like? That's what we need to do.
You know, Chilton, I'm kind of surprised you didn't put up a picture of Doug the Pug today.
Oh, Doug the Pug.
That would have been good.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to Waffle House in honor of Doug the Pug. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Oh man.
Doug the Pug.
I love Doug the Pug. It's a triad jazz tradition that we all know and love, but this year there are some changes due to COVID. Now, I spoke with festival director Joe Williams about the John Coltrane Festival, the Jazz Festival, and what we can expect this year. Joe, so time for the festival again. I know you're super busy. Let's talk about what the festival will have this year as far as entertainment goes. You guys really bring in the big name.
Well, we got a good lineup this year. You know, we were fortunate to get Chris Bodie. Actually, we had him secured for 2020, and we just kind of rolled that contract over to 2021. So we're fortunate to have him. We got Galactic this year, and we brought in Kenny Lattimore with Marcus Anderson and Julian Vaughn. They'll be playing together. So it's going to be a unique experience this Saturday. And then Sunday, we got Kirk Elling, you know, one of the, just won a Grammy this past year as the top jazz vocalist. And Kingfish, which his new album is just kind of blowing up the charts. So perfect timing for him. Lakeisha Benjamin, brand new artist, you know, she's carrying the legacy of Coltrane.
Now, I know you had to do things a little bit different this year due to COVID. Let's talk about that and what you're doing as far as vaccines are concerned.
Well, you know, I think that safety is on the forefront of our minds from day one when we first started thinking about having a festival in 2021. So, you know, we are following industry norms and what's happening with some of the large festivals and regional, and all of them are kind of going to the COVID protocols. Bring your vaccination card, show proof that you are COVID free, ask COVID questions, you know, whatever we can do to keep people safe. We're going to have tons of sanitized stations. We're going to try to spread people out as best we can. So it's just safety in mind. We just want the best guest experience that we can have. We want people to relax and enjoy themselves.
Well, it sounds great. I'm sure the festival is going to be wonderful. You always bring in the big names. Thanks, Joe, for taking time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is interesting. I mean, when I spoke with him about the fact that it is, you know, an outdoor type festival and they're still requiring proof of vaccine, but he said that it's just safety. It's just top on their list. They just can't take any chances, and you know, we'll see how it goes. The level of talent has not changed a bit, so they're bringing in some huge names.
What I love about this time of year is we start to see like the festivals come around. So you've got the Jazz Fest, but then what I also love is the North Carolina Folk Festival is the weekend after that in Greensboro.
Okay.
So I mean, really just some great local, but also national and international talent that you might not see otherwise.
Very cool. And I think it's also great that they are requiring this proof of vaccination or the COVID test just to make us feel more comfortable to go out to see some of these festivals and celebrations.
Love to see the legacy of a triad's own John Coltrane just being lived and continued. Talked about the camp with the youth and the kids from the John Coltrane camp that happened this summer. Throw it in with this festival. I love to see it. What a great name and so much great talent on the way to the triad.
I'm sad to say that I'm not really like a jazz guy. I don't know much about it, but I would love to learn more about it. Anybody else?
I can tell you that when Jalen does his bass player impersonation, it's pretty much spot on.
He was just doing it.
He looks like every jazz
Hey man,
player
fake it till you make it.
I'm just glad that I know how to pronounce it like jazz flute, because remember, you know, Ron
Ron
Burgundy.
Burgundy.
Jazz flute.
And fire out of the end of the flute. It's phenomenal. All right, let's talk about our forecast, shall we? Speaking of heat, yeah, we're going to kind of toast along in the low 90s for several days. In fact, it goes all the way through the weekend. We do see some thunderstorm activity right now. You can see this is in Forsyth County and moving up into Stokes County as well. Lots of lightning associated with that particular system. And of course, we'll keep you posted if that were to die out. But it looks like it's going to hang around for a little bit, just like this guy. This is Tropical Depression number 9. Winds are only at 35, but if we follow suit with this, there's a possibility this could be a Category 2 by the end of the weekend, moving into possibly the Louisiana area. Here's your 7-day forecast, and we are nothing if not consistent with low 90s Friday through Tuesday. We're between 91 and 93. Not a lot of rain chances in here for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's because that high pressure moves right over the top of us. Normally we would see a rain chance with temperatures that hot. But then the high moves away and we've got that 20 or 30% chance each afternoon. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and highs start to drop a little bit. 88 by Wednesday, down to 85, which is actually below normal by a smidge for this time of the year. And we'll go with a 40% chance of late day pop-up showers and storms on Thursday. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. We'll be right back.
like I said, being able to just come straight to work and get to work.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Callie. Hello, everyone.
Hey there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania.
Hi, Callie. I'm walking down the hall. I have my mask nearby.
Hey, we are talking about all things Guilford County Schools.
Ten 9-8-765-4321.
I want to take this time to talk to all the people who've been vaccinated for coronavirus. First, thank you for doing your part to help end this pandemic. It might seem like what you did was small, but it was really important. I understand if you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. We did everything we were supposed to do, and still, it seems we're right back to square one with masks and social distancing. You took a chance on a vaccine, and you did it for the common good. Maybe you got the shot to protect an elderly loved one. Maybe you have a friend with a compromised immune system, or maybe you got it because it was the selfless and patriotic thing to do. Either way, you did the right thing. But because so many of our neighbors didn't, we took some big steps backward. Vaccination numbers are finally going up a bit thanks to vaccine requirements and worries over the Delta variant. It sure seems like we will be dealing with this for a while. For me, I'm focusing on the positive. At the top of the list, I'm mostly protected from severe illness or death. Also, I did something, not because I was forced to, but because I wanted to help my fellow man. And even though it's small, I'm making a difference. A Facebook follower reached out to me last week about the vaccine. She told me one of my posts about why I got vaccinated was what convinced her to get vaccinated too. I was so happy to hear that. And maybe that's the key here. Maybe we need to reach out to our hesitant loved ones and explain to them why the vaccine is important. Obviously, it won't convince everyone to get the shot, but it might be just the nudge some need. Either way, just know that you did the right thing, and don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. That's just my 2 cents, and you're 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Any moment now, President Joe Biden is expected to give an update on the developing situation in Afghanistan. Earlier today, 2 blasts near the airport in Kabul claimed many lives. ISIS